And we are very glad to have Sri Ravishankar amongst us, who is a global humanitarian. His aim is to create a violence-free, stress-free world. And his vision has inspired millions to broaden their responsibility and serve the society. What is important is he has actually created practical tools and techniques to guide the people in this regard. He started the Art of Living Foundation in 1981, and that foundation has presence in more than 150 countries around the world. With his other organizations, including the International Association for Human Values, they contribute practically, at the practical level, to conflict resolution, disaster relief, prisoner rehabilitation, universal education, all leading to peace. We all wonder how the bad thing seems to be automatically growing while we are lacking some tools to nurture the peace. So Sri Ravishankar is going to talk to us today about nurturing peace through yoga and meditation. Please join me in welcoming Sri Ravishankar.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador, and dear ones here. Now, the topic is very broad, nurturing peace. In order to understand peace, we need to understand what's the problem, why we want peace. Is peace a natural state? If you ask a baby, you want peace or a lollipop, he would go for lollipop. I see Swami Vivekananda's picture here. And I remember an incident that seemed to have occurred, that I've heard a story about him. Once a professor in London asked Swami Vivekananda, asked all the students, Swami Vivekananda is one of them. So he asked Swami Vivekananda, suppose if there is a book of wisdom or some money on the floor, what you would pick up? So Swami Vivekananda said, I would pick up money. Then the professor really made a fun of, look, you don't value wisdom, you are picking up money. You know what Swami Vivekananda said? Sir, you only pick up what you don't have. So when the professor said, I would pick up the book of wisdom. So Swami Vivekananda said, you only pick up what you don't have. Children have no value for peace. You know why? Because they have it. They have peace in their heart. They cry. Next moment they are able to smile. They are able to laugh. The tears are still there. The tears have not yet dried, but they are able to put a smile on their face again. But we as adults have lost this elasticity. Yoga is to bring that elasticity in our mind, not just in our body. Unfortunately, today yoga means just making your body more elastic. It's considered as just gymnastics, just a health thing. No. The founder of yoga has said, what's the purpose of yoga? He said, Heyam dukkha managatam. To prevent the misery before it even arrives. This is the purpose of yoga. Of course, bodily ailments is one of them. So if you keep exercising, and of course you can avoid many physical ailments that might land up with us, or that may make us land up in doctor's place. So this being just one of them. The other aspect of yoga is to bring skill in action. Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita said, Yogaha karmasu kaushalam. Skill in action, skill in communication. To be able to communicate from your heart, the heart-to-heart talk, soul-to-soul talk. We communicate more through our presence than through our words. Have you thought about it? I'm sure we all have experienced this, right? Someone may stand and talk on love for 2 hours, but a baby, with one glance, it can communicate the same message. Or a puppy at home, a dog will jump around you and communicate that what could not be communicated through hours of talks and words. Yoga is skill in communication. Yoga is the skill to relate to people. Just imagine if Saddam Hussein had better skill to communicate with George Bush and vice versa. Wouldn't the world would have been a better place? Yeah? If we had communicated that he doesn't really have any weapons of mass destructions in the right proper manner, in the right manner, the scenario would have been much different. And what we have landed up today is much worse than where we were 10 years ago. Do you all agree with me?
Sure. Yes.
We may have different opinions, but nobody can deny that wars begin with communication breakdown. Am I correct? Any war anywhere in the world is a sign of breakdown of communication, or very clearly exhibits lack of communication skills. When words do not convince, then we try to do it with weapons. And weapons don't work. We try to come back to words, which really doesn't work. So we keep going down this catch-22 situation. We keep going on this roller coaster. In this roller coaster, then more conflicts, and as a result of it, more gun stores and more fear and lack of confidence starts popping up in the planet everywhere. We definitely don't want such an atmosphere for our children. Do you all agree with me? There are many ladies here, you will all agree with me that we want to give, men also, we want to give a better environment, better world to our kids. A safer, secure place for our coming generations. Yeah? Do you all agree with me? Then what's the way? Uniting people, uniting hearts and minds, uniting cultures, uniting religions and civilizations, and uniting age groups. This is not just enough. There is generation gap, uniting the generations. This is very important. All over the world today we see there is such a big generation gap. Right? The fathers and sons don't agree, and sons and the mothers and daughters don't understand each other. A vast gap, and this is landed us in a situation where people are depressed. If family values have been very intact, depression would not have been such a big issue. The World Health Organization has declared now depression is one of the biggest killers in the coming century, the coming decade. 40% of people in Europe are depressed. Can you imagine every other person you meet could be depressed? Yoga is the cure for depression, not Prozac. You can pop in Prozac and it can give you a momentary relief, but it stops working on a long run. So again here, the word of Maharshi Patanjali comes for play. Heyam dukkam anagatam. You stop the misery before it lands up at your doorstep. And that's what is yoga, that's what meditation is all about. And that's exactly is pranayama, meditation, all this. The purpose of all this. And what it does, it has worked. And we have seen working in 152 countries. We have seen this in a practical, even this country, almost everywhere. It has helped people to come back to normal. Right from 9/11, after 9/11 in New York, we started this for the firefighters and then the policemen. And, we just started with a small center and rented a small center. And today, the center it's much bigger and so many people are getting benefited on a daily basis. Then, we have the welcome home troops. We have for the troops who have been fighting in Iraq war and Afghan war and even as far as Vietnam war. For them, when they learn these breathing exercises and meditation, samasana, life has been so different for them. Big change has happened to them. I'm going to address a few of them tomorrow morning here in Capitol Hill, along with some senators, of course. And then we have seen this work in the European Parliament. It has worked to people in Ethiopia. I would like to share this story. It's very important. You can see how it can also work people in authority. When Ethiopia became a republic, democratic republic, first people had to be taught what is the ruling party and what is the opposition. Because they're very, very innocent people. So they didn't know. The opposition would support the ruling party and ruling people will oppose themselves. So they didn't know the norms of democracy. They had no idea. They were just being elected from their places and there was chaos within the parliament. But then the American embassy and British embassy there, they taught them really that, look, you are in opposition. Your job is to oppose what government brings in. And the ruling party said, see, this is your party and it is your leader is bringing in this law and you have to support your law. So they had to educate them. When they educated, it gave rise to another problem. The other problem was they would not even look at each other. The two parties became so inimical to each other, they would not even look at each other. They would fight like anything, cats and dogs. So they thought what we should do. Then the American and British embassy together sponsored an art of living workshop with the help of Indian embassy there. An Indian ambassador's wife, the first lady there, wife was one of art of living teacher. And Gurjeet Singh ji was there as ambassador, and his wife, Neeru Singh, was an art of living teacher. So she brought some other teachers with her, and we taught them the course, the program. I call it Art of Living 35 years ago, why? Because those days yoga was a taboo. 30 years ago, when we would say yoga, that means not normal people would do. Someone who is out there would go for yoga and meditation. The mainstream, it was not an acceptable norm those days. And today it's different. Today, even Daimler, Chrysler and all these big motor companies, they put for relaxation, yoga as a posture. This has become an ad thing now. Times are changing. So I call this art of living those days. Of course, we teach some yoga. A small part of it is exercise, and the other parts of meditation and some talks, some processes. So when we did this, again there was a bonding in the whole parliament. So they invited me to address the parliament. And a change has happened in people right from within. The corrupt people became more compassionate and more committed to work. Corruption begins where the sense of belongingness ends. And yoga is something that brings that bonding and creates a sense of belongingness to everybody.
Was about anxiety. And we are surrounded with fears of uncertainties of tomorrow and yesterday. And we are carrying that past with us. How to get rid of that past, which was not so pleasant, with the help of yoga, meditation. The words are wonderful, but in practice, how to put it in?
See, in these few minutes of meditation, we are able to relax. So when we relax, we see we can handle the problems. Right? Unless and until your life is threatened with a gun point right in front of you, then you can't say, wait a minute, I'll close my eyes and meditate. It's not possible. But fortunately, when you are not in that extreme kind of situation, there are two things one you can do. One is look back. In your life, you had many such situations. It's not for the first time. There are many stressful events have happened in your life. And you have come over them all. And you are still alive. So, somehow nature has helped you move. So when you realize that, okay, let me take this challenge, it will work also. Got it? So a faith in your own ability, in the ability of the being, yourself, or the spirit, that I'll be able to handle the challenges that's in front of me. You can put your mind at rest. You know the definition of stress is lack of confidence in yourself or in people around you or in your own abilities. Or faith in there is something beyond and that has enormous amount of love for me and it will take care of me. These three types of lack of confidence can give you anxiety. Yeah? So either with this looking back, learning from your own experience, number one. Second is invoking confidence within you. Third, meditation and breathing techniques. If you're a technical person who does not believe in anything, techniques do work.
My question is, I do practice yoga from long time, my childhood, and I'm trying to find out how we can coordinate our body, mind, and soul. So please give your thought on that.
Yeah, I got the question. Body, mind, and spirit. How we can, they're already coordinated. That's how we are here. That's how we are speaking, we are listening, we are understanding. If there is no coordination between them, you would be gone. Body will be under the ground. Spirit will be somewhere else. They're all together. We simply have to honor them. Recognize them. For this, take couple of days off. I would recommend everyone to take at least 4-5 days in a year. Go on a retreat, silent retreat. Be with the nature. Meditate little longer. Right food, right amount of sleep and proper meditation. I know we keep doing this. From day after tomorrow I am giving one in Boone, North Carolina. I come just for that from India. Usually we do these silent retreats and meditation retreats. 5 days. And it can recharge your batteries for rest 1 year. And then after a year you can again come back and charge your batteries. You can do it 1, 3, 4 times a year. When we are so busy in a day-to-day life and we cannot meditate every day, at least we should do this. Charge our batteries once every 3-4 months.
yoga has a cure for depression, not Prozac. Do you know how many people, when they are struggling with depression or suicidal thoughts, can reach out for yoga? This could be a long term or something, but I am unable to understand your logic.
You can go into our research work, in All India Institute of Medical Science, and also NIMHANS, National Institute of Medical and Neurosciences in Bangalore. They have published papers. They have given all the scientific data, how Sudarshan Kriya, meditation, these things can be a substitute for medicines in case of depression and suicide tendencies. And personally, if you ask me, I have on-ground experience of thousands of people who are coming, who have broken hearts, when they got depressed for various other reasons, and when they come and they do this program just for 5 days, they're back on track.
No, I'm talking about clinical depression.
Yeah, this is all clinical depression only. Depression is always clinical depression. It's in the mind. So the clinical depressions have been treated by NIMHANS, National Institute of Medical Science and National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences. Have you heard about this institute? It's the premier institute based in Bangalore. Also, All India Institute of AIMS, All India Institute of Medical Science. They have also conducted this recently. Last year, we had a seminar where 600 doctors have presented papers on the effects of breathing technique on meditation on various diseases, depression being one, diabetes. It has improved cholesterol in the body, for heart conditions, for depressions, all these conditions, many neurological conditions also, they have published papers. As a layman, though I have doctorate degrees, that's only honorary doctorates, but I'm not very much qualified to talk about that. But cortisones in the system comes down, and stress hormones comes down in the body while meditating, and positive energy increases, so depression goes away. Practically, I get about 700-800 emails every day about this healing that people have undergone. Not just in India, right from Mongolia, Japan to Argentina, everywhere it has worked. I think here US also. Where was the research done in US with our Harvard and University of Wisconsin? They have done on depression. Genetic. Where? University of Pennsylvania. Yeah, you can give this. Are these things available on any part of the website? Okay. Also, University of Oslo has done some research. Dr. Fari from University of Oslo, he has said how it has impact on the genetics, in the genes, genealogy. He has studied genealogy and says how the meditation has an impact on the genes. It's interesting. You may like to contact with Dr. Fari, a professor in the Oslo University. This is the biggest problem in the world, that we try to eliminate thoughts and we think, oh, we should have no thoughts in the mind. The meditation is not concentration. Unfortunately, many people give you this idea meditation means focus your mind, get rid of other thoughts and keep only positive thoughts, all that stuff. No, 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 no. Meditation is an art. It's a way to keep the mind, make the mind relaxed. So there is no effort involved in it. Yeah. So you can talk to one of our teachers. We have 3 days classes for meditation, 2 hours each day. In that we do all the do's and don'ts of meditation. And then we'll make you do meditation, make you do at home and come back and, check on that. We do this thing. Yeah.
I have experience where if you are in the group meditation, it works better than sitting isolated in the yoga pose and kind of doing the meditation. Can you talk more on the group meditation versus?
Yeah. It has some impact. See, we are all just energy. So, energy, we catch energy from others also. We get influenced by others. Similarly, if in a group, if someone is mad, and you be there and you also get mad, I think everybody has experienced. Suppose in a room someone has been shouting and yelling, you come into the room, something happens to your brain, because when you understand the quantum physics, you can understand how this works also better. So a field gets created when more people sit and meditate. So we automatically, group meditation becomes a little deeper. But if you listen to some knowledge and if you get little training, you can sit alone also and have the same impact.
I'm a physician. I'm a graduate of All India Institute of Medical Science, and I'm glad you mentioned that name. I am concerned about, some of the diseases which have no cause, like high blood pressure. A lot of people have high blood pressure, and most of the times the cause of high blood pressure is not known. And if we take blood pressure continuously of all the people, it will fluctuate up and down, up and down. You take medicines, even then it goes up and down. I think there is a role for yoga or your meditation in those kind of illnesses where there is no organic basis for it. If there's an organic basis for it, if there is a disease entity, like coronary artery disease, when you have a clot, you have hardening of the arteries, then yoga may not help. But for diseases like asthma, diseases like high blood pressure, which most of the time have no cause, that's where that may be most helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. It's helping depression, meditation, like this hypertension, low blood pressure also. Diabetes also. It's helping people with sugar levels, fluctuating sugar levels.
Hello.
Arrhythmia, when people have arrhythmia.
That's again no cause.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, thank you so much. I work for the Center for Disease Control. I'm Indian and I just joined the CDC recently, and that's where I discovered yoga. So it's been such a treat and a delight, and that's probably the best part of my job, besides other good things, of course. But I wanted to ask you, you are speaking to the choir, means many of us believe in yoga, and many of my colleagues who are stressed, having difficulty, how do we bring them in, And, how do we get them started?
I leave this thought with
Thank
you,
you.
because with this thought you can find ways to bring them in. Because you are in the same profession and you have to tell them, either, or you take up some research, post and pre-yoga, post-yoga, and then come up with a paper, submit paper, and invite people for discussion. I think a scientific tempered person would not be in a closed mindset. If someone has a closed mindset, I wouldn't call them very scientific people. They have prejudice. As I said, those days seem to be waning out. And 30 years ago, when we wanted to do a course in Boston for convicts, people thought it is weird. And they just gave a small room which was very dusty and dark with 9 convicts because we insisted that we want to go in there. But today, that's not the case. Today people welcome, and yoga has been accepted in many of the prisons. And people have accepted it and have found big difference in their way, they look at life.
Wanted to add to the question that somebody there had about how yoga can help. There's an article, I just found this in Journal of Clinical Oncology, which was published in 2014, and where they show that pranayama does help the breast cancer survivor patients. So it definitely is used for mood elevation, inflammation, and other things.
Correct.
Yeah, I work for National Institutes of Health, and then somebody brought it up about other possible places. And we have one of the institutes called National Institute of Complementary and Alternative Medicine. And they support, we do support a lot of studies on yoga and meditation, including probably you heard of Mahesh Yogi's University of Meditation, Transcendental Meditation. And besides what you have mentioned, there are people are exploring, including other diseases, some other diseases like Alzheimer's disease, and how yoga and meditation helps them to have a normal life, or at least postpone the onset of the disease.
God has sent you here, and this was my first time attempting, and it was just an outstanding experience, definitely, that I will build upon. As a first-time person who's entering into this space, at what point does someone who is doing meditation begin to feel that I am in the correct direction, or that I'm achieving some level of,
consciousness.
Yes, whatever you call it, but to feel that I'm achieving in this effort.
It will be as obvious as a pain in the leg. So when you have a pain in leg, you don't have to go and ask someone, is my leg paining? No, it's a personal experience. So same thing will come up with you, you feel absolutely at home, totally energized, like every cell of your body is vibrant with energy. In fact, you don't need a yoga teacher if you observe any kid. Every baby from the time it's born to the age of 3, they've done all the yoga postures, breathing, meditation, everything. So, by birth, we are all yogis. We have done it. But somewhere later on, we just forgot it, we dropped it, that's all. This is only getting back to where we began.
Thank you.
Working with the patients of heart diseases, I just want to give 2 information to the audience here. One is that even patients or human beings, irrespective of sex, have developed heart disease. There have been studies from West Coast in this country by Dean Ornish that proven by coronary angiogram, the people who practice yoga, besides of course their medicine, and it was found that the plaques in the coronary arteries have decreased, proven by coronary angiography. And it has been found also that meditation and yoga abhyas can also increase longevity. And it has been proven that the age of a person, any living being, is determined by the length of the telomeres. And it has been found that people practicing yoga, the length of the telomere becomes enlarged, and that is another proof that yoga can help you. And this, no wonder that Elizabeth Blackburn has gotten a Nobel Prize in medicine, proving this fact that the length of the telomere has increased with practice of yoga. Thank you very much.
Kind of engage the little ones also into meditation.
See, the kids below 8, 9 years, they don't need to engage. You don't need to engage in meditation. Let them just play. You know, meditation is above 8, 9 years. After 8, kids started going to school. That is the time to do a little bit, not 40 minutes and all. Kids, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, some little exercise, and that should be the limit. But then after 15, after 21, then you can go on increasing. I would recommend you do per age, your age, a 15-year-old boy, I would recommend only 15 minutes. And then 20 to 20 minutes. After that you can go on. Okay? We are done.
Please be seated. This morning when I had a chance of meeting with Sri Ravishankar, it transpired that this is the first time that Sri Ravishankar is coming to the Indian Embassy in Washington, D.C. And we want to ensure that this shall not be the last time. So I'm going to request Ambassador Sandhu to give a bouquet to Sri Ravishankar and invite him for the next time. Please join us.